Happy New Year, everybody. Yep, it's me, Mike D57S, and here I am with my very first video of 2015. Yeah, 2014 is done, and now it's time for, well, like I said, 2015. Alright. Anyways, guys, I hope you did have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and so did I. And of course, on Christmas, I did get some very good gifts. Here, I'll show you one of them. One of them was, in fact, this iPad over here, yeah. Nope, I really don't have my tripod, yeah. And, of course, as I mentioned before, my dad, of course, that's his, and he mostly uses it for work. Alright, so, yeah. This is gonna be difficult, because there are some videos I planned with it. Anyways, moving on, though, and of course, one of my Christmas gifts, well, late Christmas gift, because, they were in delay, is the new, the Bachmann Arry Bert. The new recent model, no, I'm sorry, the recent Bachmann models that were, well, released last year, of course. Well, they were actually announced back in February of 2013, but then released in, I think it was summer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was July last year, yeah. And I gotta say, wow, I am so glad I finally got them. I mean, they look great. And it's strange, though, that I'm pretty sure a lot of people may have got them, but honestly, they really haven't gotten that many reviews out on YouTube. Yeah, like, I've checked, like, not many reviews out there, like, full reviews. So, I've actually decided to take it upon myself to actually do this. Yeah, and I'm so glad I finally got them. Okay, but before that, since we're doing Thomas characters, let's just talk about my opinion on said characters. Okay, now, of course, Arry and Bert were introduced in the 5th season of the show, though their names weren't mentioned, but their appearances, the first time you see them, it's just frickin' creepy. Like, seriously. I mean, who wasn't scared shitless of Arry and Bert when they saw them for the first time? Like, when you see, like, you know, Arry in the, you know, in that infrared light, it's like you're looking at two demons from hell. I mean, seriously, these two are really that sinister. So sinister, they actually tried to scrap, or nonetheless commit murder on Stepney one time. Yeah, but it's strange, they also said, "Got you this time, Stepney." Which is strange, considering the fact that they must have known Stepney before. And it's also pretty strange when you read their merchandising bios that it is also said that they actually attempted to scrap Oliver, which is pretty strange because we haven't seen them interact, not to mention that Oliver was introduced before them. But wait, they were in the mainland before that, I'm pretty sure, yes. Of course they were, yeah. But seriously, like, were the marketing team really just making that up? Oh well. Because we gotta remember, the episode Rusty to the Rescue, well, of course, wasn't really accurate, though. Though I enjoyed it. It was one of my least favorites, but it's not bad, I admit. Just a wish they could use the Railway Hero story. We're getting off topic here. Yeah, Arry and Bert as villains are just really, you know, conniving and sinister, and really showing that they don't, you know, take crap from, well, Sir Topham Hatt. Yeah, that rhymes, doesn't it? And, seriously, the way they actually tried to murder Stepney, Jesus Christ. Of course, they are referred to by many fans, especially Enterprising Engine 93, as the Grim Messengers of Doom. Yeah, and Matt in his series did portray them very well, like in one episode. I'm not going to spoil it here, but I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Yes, so, Arry and Bert, of course, I really, you know, this is also, there's something that annoys me about Arry and Bert. And of course, in Season 6, they were downgraded to, you know, mischievous jackasses when they're pranking Percy and James, and, oh yeah, and it's recently in the CGI series. It's just that Andrew Brenner, yeah, I've noticed this too, Arry and Bert really don't get that much screen time, or heck, not even a speaking role, sadly. I mean, if Andrew Brenner was watching, I would at least... I mean, I know Arry and Bert never really got an episode to themselves, but last time was Middle Engine, but I really didn't care about that episode that much. But we haven't, they haven't even gotten any speaking roles. Like, it's really been a while, and all they had was just, like, cameos recently in Season 18. Like, if Andrew Brenner was watching, I just hope maybe next season that Arry and Bert could at least have some roles, maybe. I mean, the last time I remember them having, like, a specific role, of course, was in, you know, that Season 15 episode in Henry's Special Coal. And yeah, that episode did suck, but at least it was good to see Arry and Bert in those roles. Sadly, I just, well, hope, especially with characters like Rosie and Stanley, maybe they could at least get, you know, their own screen time and maybe their own episode. We'll see. I mean, there was that poll hit in the SIF, you know, made an agreement on, well, for fan service, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Another little fun fact that before we get into this review, because of the fact that they're OH shunters like Diesel, of course there was that rumor that Arry and Bert, that their models from Season 5 would also be repainted into Splatter and Dodge from the 2000 movie Thomas and the Magic Railroad. And I even heard that Hornby were going to do their own models of Splatter and Dodge as well. But of course, since the fact that Thomas and the Magic Railroad was a complete failure at the box office, of course, there was the rumor that that said models of Splatter and Dodge were, of course, repainted back into Arry and Bert. Yeah, I mean, let's face it, you don't want to, you know, waste, you know, models or anything like that. And it's also strange because... Oh, no, I'm sorry, I'm improvising here. Like, and of course it's also noted that, you know, that Splatter and Dodge's Hornby models were repainted into Arry and Bert, which is why you see the Hornby models with, you know, Splatter and Dodge's faces. Yeah, okay. So I'm glad I got that off my plate. And yeah, I actually do believe that the rumor of the whole Arry, Bert, Splatter, and Dodge model controversy is actually pretty true. I mean, if you guys disagree with me, hey, that's totally fine. I mean, we all got our own opinions. Okay, so it's 7 minutes. I've wasted time about the characters, so let's just talk about the models right now. Okay, so as we all know, Arry and Bert are, of course, OH shunters like Diesel. Yeah, let me just get them. So, yeah, they obviously, you know, had to, like, you know, use their old Diesel model and repaint them, minus the step ladders here, yeah. And that was a pretty smart move. Yeah, and of course, I've questioned this in my Diesel review. Well, I don't think I have, but yeah, these guys are pretty big and really taller than most of the engines. Well, it's not bad or anything, but I just wish they could have been a little shorter. Oh well. Anyways, sadly, these models I have a bit of scratches. Yeah, this is apparently Arry, and there's a little chip over here, but don't worry, it's nothing major. And of course, unlike the most twins we have, you know, it's pretty hard, oh, excuse me, it's pretty hard to tell either Bert or Arry apart. Like, from what I heard, Bert pretty much has more stubble, and yeah, I could see that. Like, Arry's, you know, beard is a little lighter. It's strange for an engine to have a beard, but hey, if Daisy can wear makeup, then anything's possible. Alright, here's Arry, his... You know, his beard is, well, lighter, while, if I get it out of the shadow, Bert seems to be a little darker than that, I think, yeah. It seems like that. Yeah. So that's pretty much one way of telling either of them apart. It's just the same faces, just their, you know, their stubble is, you know, in different shades. So, of course, this is obviously Bert, and this is obviously Arry. And, of course, out of the most twins, we could tell them apart. Bill and Ben obviously had, you know, like, different faces. Bill with that, you know, wide-open eyes, and Ben with the mischievous grin. Donald and Douglas, of course, you know, their eyebrows were, you know, repainted, but it's the same face anyway. And now Arry and Bert have the same face, but their stubble is just in different shades. But even so, and even in the show itself, it was really hard to tell these two apart anyway, even with the stubble on. Okay, and out of the most example, I'm going to use Bert. Yeah, Bert's pretty much my favorite out of the duo, I admit. Okay, so here's Bert, and now here's the buffers, which look like sprung, and yeah, I know. I wish they were sprung, but sadly they're not. But I will say this, though. I will give him credit for that. And here's the vacuum hose. And something I've noticed about the vacuum hose is that, well, they didn't really have any, I think. No, yeah, and here's one on the back. I don't recall, either Bert or Arry to have, like, actual, vacuum hoses on them. I mean, Diesel, I'm pretty sure, well, he does. It's been a while since I looked at the models from the show. And, yeah, they're also a little nitpick I have with the models of them is that they're very, well, shiny. I'm just going to put Diesel right over here. Yeah, it's just, it's not too bad, but Arry and Bert, of course, being Diesel shunters who work, of course, in the Solar Iron Works, as you can see, they really, aren't, well, the cleanest. Especially with Salty, as I mentioned, or even Mavis, for that matter. Or Diesel. Yeah, none of the Diesels really were that clean. Well, shunters, that is. And, seriously, you didn't really have to make them that shiny. Of course, that's what weathering is for, yeah. And one thing that I will admit is pretty distracting is their windows. Diesel, I think, and even Mavis should have had it in a little bit of a darker shade so you could at least see it. And Arry and Bert, as well as Salty, should have their windows, painted black. I mean, this is just distracting. Of course, we got the nice molds, like I mentioned, of course, in my Diesel review. We have, of course, the window here for the driver to peek out of, and here's the door, and the handrails, and the step ladders molded on nicely, and everything here on the back is nice, and as well as, like, their cab windows here on the back, nicely done. We got the filled cap here, yeah. And I'm glad, that they did reuse Diesel's model, because, as I mentioned before, they are 08s, and of course the same method could be used if Bachmann were to make, of course, Splatter, Dodge, Paxton, and Sydney. Yeah, I think Bachmann should make a Paxton, and I don't care what you guys think, but maybe Splatter and Dodge. And if not, hey, we got Arry and Bert to modify them for, because Arry, Bert, and the Splodge pair really didn't have any stepladders, as far as I'm concerned. And now that I mention it, why didn't they have stepladders? Oh yeah, and sadly Bert has a little chip here. But don't worry, these models are, it's not that bad. I mean, at least I could tell them apart a bit, though. Alright. Yes, the fillet cap is molded on nicely. We got the rivets again. The vents are, nicely done. And I not only like this yellow shade, despite the fact that it's bright, but even this, greenish, well, gray, like, sort of, paint here. I mean, like, their liveries in the show were nice. And I mean, I know that there's pretty much a lot of 08s that have hazard stripes and this greenish gray paint job. And, of course, they even got, I think this is the tool compartment. Yeah, I'm pretty forgetful, I admit. And here's, of course, where, you keep the tools, and here's the vents and other, machinery pieces over there. Of course, we even got this, little, vents right over here where smoke comes out. And, of course, these, molded ribs on top. Of course, that, said, like, vent really isn't on this side. Same with, other 08s. I really wonder why that is, though. Of course, one thing to also point out is, I'll close in on it, is the Solar Iron Works logo. Like, the logo is painted nicely, and damn it, I seriously hate it. The camera's gonna take a long time to focus in, so I'll just talk about it as we go along. Yes, so the Solar Iron Works logo is molded nicely, and I really like the font that they use, and I like the space that's in, between them. That's nicely done. Of course, something else I gotta point out is back in 2012, Sacred Wolfie, the guy who made the Railway Stories from Soder, yeah, is a pretty interesting guy, I admit. He actually did his own version of the Bachmann Arry Bert before this. So, yeah. And, well, his words were good, and just exactly the way, they were made. Note, there weren't really a space between the logo, yeah. And, damn it, the camera's still not focusing in on this? Shit, alright. Yes, I like the way that this is, painted, and the font is very well done. If only I could get the stupid camera to usually focus, like... Okay, and of course we got the electric lining arrangement over here, as well as the hazard stripes. Those, yeah, the hazard stripes, nicely done. It's obviously, just, the rest of this greenish-gray, paintwork here, and the rest of the yellow lining around it. I like it. And, of course, we even got the face, and, of course, I've already, did, like... different comparisons between both of the twins' faces, but yeah, as you can see, I'll close up on here, if the stupid camera can focus. Oh, good it is. Okay, this is Arry, right over here, and this is Bert, yeah. This is their stubbles. It's a little hard telling them apart, and they got the double chin, too. Like the way their lips are molded, and their noses, these chubby noses, and their eyebrows. No, they kind of have a bit of scratches on them. Oh well. Anyways, there's crow's feet on the side as well. Oh, and yes, like Diesel, their faces, of course, are completely CGI. Yeah, I really, I mean, it's not really that much of a big issue, I don't really mind if only, like, maybe the villains, like, maybe the recent engines, well, before, Duck, Oliver, Bill Ben, and, the rest of the returning characters were coming back. I really don't, I wouldn't mind if, like, Bachmann Diesel 10 had a CGI face, as long as it makes him look evil, but, especially with Diesel himself, like I mentioned, the face isn't evil, because we gotta remember, these guys are, villains, so it doesn't make any sense. Why would they, give him this a normal smiley face? I mean, it's gonna make everyone think that they're good guys rather than, antagonists. Yeah, like, I just don't know what's with that. Like, seriously. I really just hate it when companies are just afraid of terrifying children. And seriously, you could have used the CGI devious face. I mean, Sacred Wolfie did his with his own custom Bachmann Arry Bert. And granted, I mean, like, he did the CGI devious face, but they didn't look scary, but hey, glad they weren't. But come on, Bachmann. You shouldn't really be so terrified. Well, of course, since there's modelers out there, you could give Arry and Bert, those devious expressions. Yeah, alright. So let's just close out of here, and of course we even got the step ladders here. And a little window here, molded. And, of course, one more thing I gotta talk about, though, is that we even got, their side rods. Of course, like Diesel, since they are OH shunters, and Diesel shunters, of course, have this, except Salty for some reason, oh well, is that they even have the outside frame wheel sets. That is done very nicely. I like the way that's done, and of course, the side rods, there's a little difference between the Ironworks twins and Diesel's. Like, here, I'll just show you guys. Diesel's, of course, as we know, is silver, just like it was in the Classic series. That's good. Because, I mean, it's really hard to tell, that he's got side rods when they're painted black. Arry and Bert, on the other hand, their side rods are painted black. Well, more likely in a, like, a silver grayish sort of wait, silver and gray are sort of the same, yeah. And like a dark, like, gray sort of color. So, yeah, I mean, you could barely see them, but at least it's nice. I mean, we couldn't risk them having too much, silver sideburns. But if I were, a modeler, I would, in fact, like to paint theirs red. And you're gonna ask me now. Yeah, I know you guys are gonna, start commenting. Why would I give Arry and Bert red sideburns? Well, I've seen, many OH shunters that even those that would, be painted to look like Arry and Bert, I would, see that they have red side rods. And it's just the red would, if they had red side rods, I guess it would kind of make them look accurate. But you get what you're given, huh? Yeah. Alright, so that's pretty much all I have to say about both Arry and Bert here. Like, that's it. Like, there's really not a whole lot to talk about them. Well, I certainly found it, but seriously, it's just not that they're bad models. No, they are good models. Though, granted, it's pretty hard to tell, them apart, even if Bert has, a different stubble. But, oh well. I mean, and of course you could weather them so that way they wouldn't look so shiny, but, oh, you get what you're given. I might do that someday, though. I really haven't learned modeling, to be honest, but I know I could try at least. Alright, so that's Arry and Bert. We'll rate them later, but now we'll get the strength and speed test. And I'm gonna have to hold the camera since my dad needed his tripod for his job. So, anyways, stay tuned. Okay, here I am, guys. We have Arry on the track, and I'm gonna run him around both loops and show you how fast. I'm gonna put him on full speed. Damn it. Alright, there goes Arry. Ah, damn it. Yeah, I don't think they do so well in the points like some other engines. But granted, I don't want to run them too fast or, derail on the bridge. Okay. Arry's coming down the line. Okay, now we'll get Bert. And pretty much do the same thing from here. Alright. Granted, I don't know who's really, like, too fast and stuff. We'll do a speed comparison on the inner loop later, but... oh, there they go. Here's Bert. He's going down the line. Alright, now I'll do an inner loop test and run both of them at the same time to see which is the faster of the duo, because I think I've done this. Alright, except we're going to do it the other way now. Alright, here's how it is. Arry's in the front and Bert's in the back, alright. Or we could try that the other way, because I've realized something now. Yeah, I realize, yeah. Bert's pretty much the fastest out of the duo. Yeah, like, well, not all twins are identical. Oh well. Anyways, I'll just stop the camera right over here. No, I mean, stop. Alright. I'll take Bert off and just run Arry over here. Okay, now before we end this, of course, we got, the strength test. I'm gonna get every, like, truck on the line. Alright. Okay, guys, I'm back. Now, of course, these guys are heavy, so that means they're pretty strong. Like any OH shunter. Alright. This is going to be Arry pulling the train individually. Alright, now that he's done, of course, it's Bert's turn. I'll stop him here, and this time now we're going to run both Arry and Bert at the same time. I'll give him 2 laps. Better if I have my tripod, but... Yeah, you know what, I'll just give him 1 more. Stop him here. And until Arry completely, crashes into the camera. Alright, so yes, here's Arry and Bert. I will give these guys pretty much a 9 out of 10, yeah. They're not, too perfect, because, like I said, the only flaws I had is that I wish they were shiny, and, that their faces were, well, devious. But nonetheless, they're good models, and even before them, they were in high demand since, they were made from diesel, and I'm glad that they were here. I mean that they're made. And hopefully next month in February, we could have at least announcements about new engines. And yes, I know, you've heard me say this way too many times, yes, Oliver should be made, especially Toad, and Boko, and Daisy, Derek, Stepney, yeah, you get the point. Yeah, I just wanted to get that off my plate. So, yes. So if any of you guys have, any recommendations for Bachmann to make, I'd love to know. Please, just, leave in, the comments below. I would love to know what you guys think Bachmann should make. I'm pretty sure Oliver is going to be on your, recommendations. And I hope he is made, I hope he is announced next. Hopefully. And I hope they, could at least do him. I mean, I understand what Bachmann's going through when they're making these models, but, oh well. Let's just be patient, and let's not get our hopes up, though. Anyways, so yeah, I'm glad Arry and Bert are made. So, yes, 9 out of 10 for the twins, and hopefully they may be, there could be, more reviews out there on YouTube besides mine. Alright, so, anyways, this is Mike D57S, signing off, and Happy New Year, everybody.